Dawgs podcast on the Bleav podcast network.
Scored a touchdown earlier on a direct snap. Now it's Michel's turn, running all the way. Gets to the edge. Sonny Michel will send the Dawgs home to the championship game.
53.5-yard drive near hash, kick right, snap, hold, kick is away, it's reaching, and it is good, good, good. Hot Pod does it. All right, Hot Pod.
Cox with an up and out, wide open, touchdown, Israel 2.
I went a little old school here with this one. All right, welcome. It is a live Friday edition of the Bleav in Georgia Dawgs podcast on the Bleav Network. Joining me is my man Israel Troop at TroopStar28. What's up?
What's up, man? You really went back old school with that intro.
I know I did. I have to resurface it occasionally, just to feel a little nostalgic of kind of where we were a little while ago. And then the brand new one's going to be under construction. It's just going to be a new logo reveal probably because I like the same video compilation that we've been rolling with. So that'll be good. Nice. And I'll start to replace some of the footage with seasonal footage. So that'll be good too.
Good deal. I like it. That's why you're the computer whiz and all this.
That's right. Well, you can follow us. All our information is scrolling down below. The two of us joined forces with Vinny Hardy on Beast of the East as well. So I'm going to give you Vinny's information too. You should give him a follow. And you should give us a listen every Monday night as well. We are presented by Betonline.ag. They continue to be the number one source for all of your sports betting needs. You can bet on the MLB. You could probably go right on Monday and bet on those on that home run derby. Is Ronald Acuna going to win it? I got my money on Pete Alonso personally, but you can bet on that. You can bet on the All-Star game as well. Preseason NFL futures. College football futures, who's going to win the conference. We went over those a little while ago. So a lot of fun stuff you can bet on. Just go to the website or on your mobile device. You can put that promo code Bleav, that's BLEAV. You put that promo code in and get your 50% welcome bonus. They will match your first deposit up to 50%. That's outstanding. So do it. Take advantage of it. And tell them your two best dogs sent you.
Absolutely.
Bet online. It's where the game starts. So, Troop, we got a lot to catch up on, man. We we didn't see you last week. I didn't see you Monday. You were, I guess, both of us coming off dead period. We were beat and
man.
Dead tired.
I had a golf tournament that I was in, so
oh no,
it's been and school and football season about to start, so it's hit or miss now. We actually start school in like 2 weeks, so
yeah, same here. I know it's flying by. So we're going to kind of be flying by the seat of our pants here over the next few weeks because we practice late up here at Hillwood, and I'm sure you've got similar stuff going on, and we'll have 7-on-7s and things like that. So we'll be coming on at random times until school starts. Once school starts, we'll get our schedule stabilized and we'll be able to come at you at the regular time. But I don't know about you, but we had a 7-on-7 last night, and for us being so young, two brand new quarterbacks that have never really played the position before, I thought we looked pretty good.
Good deal. That's real good. We had a 7-on-7 yesterday too. Yesterday morning, we did pretty good. Just still building chemistry. We got a new quarterback that just moved in. Young guy still learning the system, but he did pretty good yesterday. So we got an OTA on Monday. Get some live bullets at him. Leading the fall camp in another week.
There you go. So the way the dead period works here in Tennessee, and I don't really like it because you lose a ton of momentum.
Mm-hmm.
We do a big 2-week block. The week before and the week of July 4th.
Yeah.
So it's 2 whole weeks off. I don't like that. I like, for development purposes. I mean, for vacation purposes, it's great, but for development purposes, it's just you just can't have any continuity. You don't, you lose all of this momentum. I just don't care for that. I would rather, I like what you do, and we've talked about it before.
Mm-hmm.
The Memorial Day week, just start a week later, and you get that week back later around July 4th, and I would rather be off the very first week right after school, give the kids time to decompress, and then come in, they work, they're off July 4th, and then you're good. You don't lose too much.
Yep, we're perfect. We get in. It comes in right after spring ball, right when everybody's getting out of school. On that first Memorial week, we get out. Give everybody a little bit of time to decompress. School's out. If you want to go on vacation, then that's great. We come back for those next 3 weeks, and then we're off for the 4th for that whole week, and then now we're back at it. So when you told me that, I was like, I don't understand how that's beneficial to any football team in Tennessee. I don't know why they do it like that.
It's not, because you don't have a lot of people during that first week anyway, because people go on vacation right after school.
Absolutely that, and you got players in different sports during the springtime too. So ours marries up perfectly. I think Tennessee, if you're listening, Tennessee people that has control over that, I think y'all need to look at what Georgia's doing. I'm pretty sure every other state kind of has their little deal as well, but 2 weeks back to back with no ball for coaches and players in general, I mean, that's not beneficial to anybody.
Yeah, I mean, they do it to say that it allows time for vacation and decompression, but I think that the 2 hottest spots for vacations are July 4th week and that Memorial Day week. I think those are your two hot spots for school age kids. So I don't know. I feel like you got to lean into it. I feel like you'd have less burnout because you go straight from spring practice to exams, back to summer program.
Mm-hmm.
I just, you don't get a whole lot of kids anyway.
Yeah.
So, why would you do it?
Yep. We lose a lot of kids during that time because, we still got summer baseball, summer basketball. So, it marries up perfectly. And then in July, I mean, we're pretty much football all the way. So, maybe it'll get better. Maybe they'll do some thinking about it and fix it. So,
I hope so.
For y'all for sure.
TSSAA, if you're listening, this guy over here is the expert. He's in the state of Georgia, down in South Georgia. So please, please, please heed his advice. So is y'all summers, and if you're coming on here searching for Georgia content, we will get to that, I promise. But we're 2 high school coaches, so we're naturally going to talk some high school ball too. Do you guys have certain restrictions in June that you don't have in July?
I think you can only do maybe 2 paddock camps in June. I think you get 2 or 3 in July. We're not allowed to go pads or anything at all. I mean, it's pretty much helmet through that whole entire time. And then not next week, but the week after, we start acclimation. So we start helmet, shoulder pads, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
We're still kind of in the heat advisory right now, especially with the rainy season, hurricane season coming in down here too. Trying to beat the heat and the rain. So, it's kind of hit or miss every once in a while down here, but I think they got it structured pretty well down here to where everything kind of marries up leading into some teams. You can have 2 scrimmages, which would be that August 5th. Then the second scrimmage is August 12th, leading to the season August 19th.
Okay. Yeah, y'all start the season. Y'all start your actual season a week later than we do too.
Mm-hmm.
But we, like, our first scrimmage is July 29th.
Really? Dang.
Yeah. So, and we got 2 scrimmages and a jamboree.
You start football.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like, here our schedule is gonna be crazy, and I love it because we're a smaller team, so we kind of need some of this stuff. But we have a 7-on-7 next Thursday. Our next Friday is our last Friday that we're off. Then we turn around. We have a scrimmage on Friday. Then when the following Tuesday, we have an NFL style work day with Donaldson Christian. And then that Friday, we have another scrimmage. So we will get 3 opponents within a week span. So like Donaldson Christian Academy, who are the the private school division Class A champions, state champions, will come in and give us a work day. So we'll do we'll do 7-on-7 against them. We'll do padded 7-on-7 against them. We'll do inside, team stuff like that.
It's like a regular OTA. That's how we do our OTAs down here.
Mm-hmm.
Basically the same format.
And y'all are allowed 3 of those in June?
Yeah, 3 in June, 3 in July.
Love that. I absolutely love that. And are you allowed to wear pads?
Yeah, you can wear uppers and a girdle.
Uppers and a girdle? Yeah. I love that. TWSW, if you're listening, OTAs. I would use every single one of those days to go get somebody.
We kind of spread them out throughout the summer so we don't burn our guys out. Sometimes, some are free, some you pay for, just depending on, the format of how they do it, how many teams they got coming. So on Monday we go down to Camden. Then there's going to be like 6 or 7 teams down there.
Yeah.
We did one at Glen Academy up here near us right before we got out for the dead week. It gives our kids a chance to go against somebody else. They get tired of hitting and going against each other all the time. So it's a good deal, especially working your linemen, working blitz packages and things like that. For defensive purposes, because drop 8 is not what most defenses are going to do. So you got to stop the run. Yeah, give you a chance to work your run game, screen game, things like that. So
we're going to be pretty sporty in the screen and run game. So I think we got 2 good running backs. I think we got a junior and a senior, and then 2 freshmen. I think have some promise, but our junior and senior are going to carry us, and we have our third guy's probably not going to get as many carries, but his carries will be impactful, literally, because he's about 6'3", 250. He's a load, but he's not exceptionally fast. He's not exceptionally well in shape. So his carries are going to be limited, but you still got to tackle the dude. So for that reason and that reason alone, he's going to get some carries in there. So I'm excited, and I didn't think we were going to be much of a passing team this year anyway. But the fact that we did pretty well yesterday gives me a little bit of hope. So I think we'll be better than we're certainly better off right now than we ever were at any point last season.
Oh, good. There you go.
So, the attitudes are better, I think. That's the biggest turning point. That's the only thing I can think of.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Attitude and effort. That's football.
Exactly.
You can go in the wrong direction 100 miles an hour. As long as you're going 100 miles an hour, I can coach that. So
I can turn you around and say, okay, here, do this, do that, do this.
There you go.
I haven't gone off yet. I haven't gone off yet in camp.
I haven't either. I'm trying this new approach of actually, talking, in a very calm voice, which scares my players more than me yelling at them.
Yeah. I appreciate that.
Yesterday.
And I appreciate that because you save your voice for this. So we're good. We're good to go. So I think we're going to be pretty good. So, but the title of our show, Fall Camp Draws Near. So we're going to kind of touch on some pre-SEC media days, coverage and stuff like that. Try to predict what the rest of the Georgia media wants to know, or the national media wants to know about the Georgia Bulldogs. And the discussion that Vinny and I had was in relation to Will Levis on Monday, because we kind of took a peek at the Kentucky Wildcats on Monday's show. So if you want to know what Georgia's going up against with Kentucky, check out that. It's on our YouTube channel. It's linked to our YouTube channel. So check that out. Beast of the East. But we talked about quarterbacks in particular and where Will Levis fit. But I'm going to turn this discussion around, because we're not Bleav in Kentucky. I'm going to turn this into where does Stetson Bennett fit, because you look at some of these polls, he's not even in the top 10.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a major slap in the face, I think. But on the show, and if you look at us on TikTok, I posted a clip of Vinny and I discussing it. Number one's obviously Bryce Young, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can't really debate that. But I think 2 through the rest of the league, you can kind of slot him in. And where I had Stetson, and he could go anywhere from 3 to 6, I think. But I had him at 4. I had Young,
Mm-hmm.
Bryce Young at 1. I had Hendon Hooker at 2.
Mm-hmm.
I had Will Levis 3, Stetson 4, KJ Jefferson 5, Max Johnson 6, and the rest of the conference, whatever.
I like that. I like that a lot, actually. I think KJ has a little bit more upside than Hooker. So I'd probably switch those two, and mine would be Levis. I just said his name, just lost it. Arkansas's quarterback.
Jefferson,
Hooker.
So you put Hooker.
I think Stetson's 4. I think he with his upside coming back. There no new offensive coordinator. I think they're gonna release the reins on him a little bit more this year.
I think the only weapon we lose, Troop, is James Cook.
Yeah,
because people are gonna say, "Well, you lost George Pickens." Well, he didn't really play last year.
Yeah, and Jermaine Burton was kind of a non-factor too because he was injured a lot during the season, which people still don't realize that, but he was. But with the weapons we got coming back, we got Milton, all those guys in the running back room. We just picked up another one that's there now. The sky's the limit for the offense. So I think he's good at number 4. I think his ceiling's high. I think he can end up taking over that number 1 spot. I think Levis's ceiling, is a lot higher than Stetson's from an athletic standpoint. As far as his arm, I think the way that Kentucky's, kind of maneuvering the offense around him and what he does well, I think that's going to, benefit him a lot moving forward. Hendon Hooker, he's thriving in that offense. KJ is KJ. He's working with one of the brightest offensive minds in the league right now, in Brow. So, Stetson coming off a national championship year, it's going to really depend on, how he progressed during the summer. But I think he's going to stay hungry enough to prove doubters wrong and go out and put on a show. One person that I did see, I think I tweeted it too, between our group chat is I saw Spencer Rattler on one of the nation's top quarterback lists. And
nope.
He didn't even play, after like the 3rd or 4th game. So I don't understand how that works. But I guess if you go to a new school, I guess they just transfer your talents over there too.
I don't know. He's coming into a much more difficult defensive league. I could pull the Stephen A card and disagree with you just for the sake of disagreeing with you, but I can't. Like he lost his. You saw the game in which he lost his job in. Like there was one particular game where you saw him and you were like, "Yep, he ain't coming back."
Yep.
Guess who that mighty defense was?
Texas.
And then
we're going to be in the SEC next year.
Texas. Yeah.
So.
They struggle with Kansas.
Yeah.
Like he struggled with Kansas. Like he couldn't, like he's I don't know what it is about him. I can't pinpoint it, but
he's athletic. Get out now. They love him at South Carolina. I coached Jaheim Bell down here in Valdosta. They love him. Their chemistry is building.
Of course they love him. He can throw the ball a million miles, and he has a little bit of a swagger personality.
Yeah, but I think he'll struggle at the beginning. I think he'll turn it on. I think he's going to be fine.
Yeah.
But he's going to struggle with some of these SEC defense. It's different over here in this league. The Big 12 is more of a passive type defense league, but this is a run stopping, hit you in the face type league.
Mm-hmm.
The East is getting better. At any point, anybody can win the East at this point because each team has gotten better except for, that team in Nashville.
Yeah, right down the road.
The West is the West. You lose one in the West, you're out, presumably. So, it's going to be different over in the SEC, big dog. But, I never wish bad on the kid. I think he'll be fine. But I think he's going to struggle a little bit at the beginning from the speed of the game. To progression reads, to atmospheres and things like that. He's never been in an atmosphere like the SEC.
Oh no, not at all, not at all. And it's going to be struggling. You have all these defenses like Mark Stoops is going to bring in that Kentucky defense.
Mm-hmm.
He's aggressive. He's going to throw bodies at you and force you. force you to make quick decisions. You have Georgia that's going to come into town, Florida, who's Billy. I'm a believer in Billy Napier, although I think he's a year away. I think he can get it done. We're going to see if he's going to move more towards the Jeff Collins route of too busy in the social media marketing department offices and forgetting to coach the team type level, or if he's going to actually now coach the team like he's capable of coaching the team, and they're going to be really good if he does that.
Absolutely. I think Florida's getting some athletes now too. I mean, I think they just got a big corner, a big time running back that just committed to him as well. And that's just, that's a great job in recruiting, something that hadn't been done at Florida in a long time. So I think Florida's on their way back. South Carolina's getting better. Don't get me wrong. They're getting better. I think that defense is going to be really good. They made some huge strides last year, especially in winning the Mayo Bowl last year. Kind of building some momentum going into this year. We got Spencer Rattler that comes in too as well.
We'll see what Rattler has week 2 because they're traveling to Fayetteville.
So we're gonna see. I mean, the SEC right now is just dominating across the board. The Big Ten's trying to get in it, like we talked last week about USC and UCLA going into the Big Ten. See some noise about Clemson maybe coming to the SEC. So I mean, it's gonna be a fun ride for these next couple of years, especially this year. Considering that we just won national championship and we have a target on our back.
Absolutely, and as Kirby always says, pressure is a privilege. So let's media days is coming up. Everyone's going to want to know about Stetson Bennett. So let's dive deeper a little bit into him specifically. We all know why he's presumably getting the lack of respect is because he's 5'10", and he was a former walk-on, 2-star, and wore jersey number 22 at one point. But what he has a high ceiling, right? He has all the athletic ability. What is it about Stetson why did he overtake? So you have to ask yourself, if you're a media member, you have to ask yourself, okay, what did Stetson Bennett do to overtake JT Daniels? Why did he do it? Why did Kirby see that in him? Because Kirby's not in the business of making emotional decisions. He's getting paid way too much and the pressure's way too high for him to make emotional decisions. Why did Stetson win that job?
I think just based off of athletic ability. At the same time, you got to think one thing they allude to in the national championship game and in the semifinal game against Michigan, the ability to elude pressure. We're not a drop back team. We've never been a drop back team. We rely on the run game. We rely on the run game to the pass. Play action passes. Protection breakdown. If you got a pocket passer back there, he's going to get sacked. Well, Stetson gives you the ability to run the football. Those zone read type situations, where they clamp down the running back because we have some great running backs. He's able to pull the ball, get you 10, 12 yards just off zone read. Eluding sacks, I go back to the Auburn game that he started, in Sanford Stadium. You got Big Cat coming off the edge, and he'll lose the sack. Gets his shoulders around and throws a dart. I think it was to Sims or something like that. So I mean, it's the ability to move the pocket, the ability to make plays with your legs when protection breaks down, and it's the ability to just maneuver in the offense, without making a bad play. Now, does he have his faults? He does throw the ball into coverage sometimes. He does, let his eyes, mess with him a little bit, but I think he's gotten better at that. The kid just came off a national championship win. Had a, lack of better words, a shitty first half, comes back in the second half, dominates the game. Throws that big ball to AD Mitchell, throws a big pass to Pickens, and leads the Dawgs to the national championship. So, I mean, the kid's got moxie. He grew a pair, to say the least, during that national championship game. And, it's his job to lose. And I don't think he's going to lose it. He came back for another year. I think he's going to earn the respect, that I think he deserves, moving forward.
I agree with you. I think the best thing he did was grab the national championship game by the balls in the second half and take it over. Like that's the best thing he did. He settled down. He made the throws. He took command of that offense and said, finally, for the first time that we'd been hearing about this, and he just never really did it, never really had to probably, but never really took control of it like he did in that playoff run. And after the SEC championship, I mean, I'll admit I was done with him. After the SEC championship, I was done with him. I was like, okay, he's gotten us as far as he can get us, right? I was like, I appreciate you, Stetson. This is as far as we can get you. Now, I mean, we got to start exploring. And they probably did. But Stetson, at that point, probably that first practice right after the SEC championship, probably said, all right, enough's enough. I'm going to go take this job. I'm going to go take the reins of this thing. And he probably had to beat out JT Daniels again, and he did. And that's what made him play so well in the Orange Bowl. You saw him a lot more comfortable with his reads in the RPO game, which was something that's been shaky at times. You've seen him and shaky at times because these defenses throw things at him that, they're good. They're well coached. The other teams are allowed to be well coached, and I don't think people realize that too.
Yep,
so
they recruit too.
They offer scholarships. I don't know if they've stopped recently, but they award scholarships too. So I think, long answer short, I think I said that right. When that question is asked to Kirby at media days, I think it just comes down to the fact that he took control of the offense. The guys believed in him, and he made a run. And he's going to continue to do that because it is the same offense. The same guys, minus a very small handful of people.
Absolutely. And I mean, you got a guy like Kirby Smart, he's been there a long time. He's been in business a long time, so I mean, he knows, he saw it, he sees the full body of work.
Mm-hmm.
He knows what they were going into. I think Coach Monken's like, look, we got to move the pocket. And against a team like Alabama, you got to move the pocket. You can't just sit in the pocket and throw the ball 100 times.
Dallas Turner and Will Anderson will put you in the hospital if you do not move the pocket.
So, I think just from the simple fact of his athletic ability, the way that he uses his legs is the reason why he was able to take over the offense the way he did. Right.
Absolutely. So I think that answers the question. Why is that? Now, the second question, here's how we ask the questions before they're asked. That's the beauty of this. So if you want to know, if you want a preview of media days, here you go. Because this is what everybody's thinking. Okay. You lose five first rounders on the defense and several others that weren't in the first round, but you lose them off your too deep. I mean, you had backups drafted early. You had a backup drafted in the third round. That's pretty amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Channing Tindall. How do you replace that?
You don't. You reload. You got to think. Although there was a lot of guys taken in the NFL draft, there's a lot of guys that had quality playing time during this run that Georgia made last year. You got Carter. I think
projected top 10.
Coming back. Nolan Smith's coming back. Ringo's coming back. He got hurt last year. He was a corner, secondary kid, transferred in. Oh, what's his
name? Kendrick?
Yes, sir. No, not Kendrick. The other one.
Oh, crap.
It lost me as soon as I thought about it. Anyway,
yeah.
He's coming back up this year.
Yes.
Yes. So
the
defense is going to be fine. You saw in the spring game, you just need a couple guys to step up. A lot of guys are going to have to be playing prominent roles that didn't have to play last year. Bear Alexander, for one, is going to have to step up on the defensive line, to help Carter. So, I mean, right now it's just, let's go out and play ball. Let's play reckless abandonment like we played last year. Mix in some man, some zone, and some blitzes. Just make sure everybody is on their assignment, and we're going to be fine.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't see anything wrong with that. I mean, you have, you had 5 guys make the preseason All-American list, and Jalen Carter, Keely Ringo, Nolan Smith, and Christopher Smith. 4 of those guys are defenders. You just lost historical talent, generational talent on your defense, and you reload it with 4 more guys on the All-American list.
Absolutely. Smith decided to come back. He was one of those guys projected to leave, but he decided to come back for one more run at it. So Bill decided to stay. So hey, I mean, like I said earlier, you really don't have to look around to see, all right, who's going to make a play. I mean, you just reloaded pretty much. These guys just getting more significant snaps now.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. And you're going to see if Jalen Dumas is going to. You're going to see if he can step up in that inside linebacker, the either the Mike or the money role. I mean, you're going to see the linebacking core is going to be the key to this defense. And what's funny is you're going to be like, well, there's going to be significant drop in production. Well, yeah, 6.5 to 14 is significant drop, but it's still 14 points a game is still elite defense in this age of college football. So yeah, I'll take that significant dip any day of the week. I'll get concerned when we get in the upper 30s.
Absolutely. And Chambliss, he made that big hit against Michigan. I tweeted about that as well because I was actually watching the game when I saw it. He's a big hitter from Carrollton who should see, significant playing time this year. We saw what he brings to the table. I mean, not many freshmen that go and stick their face into a 205-pound running back, first play, from scrimmage. You know what I mean? So, it's just a point of, where do these guys fit? How do we make this defense, fit around their talent level is basically what it is. Do we have enough depth? If one goes down, can we just replace him? It's not like, oh, we're scrambling to try to see, who can we put in. It's all right, he's down. All right, next man up. You got to have the next man up mentality. I think that's how Kirby Smart goes about business. I think that's why we won the national championship last year because even just going back to the offensive standpoint, Jackson goes down. Pickens is hurt. Burton is hurt a little bit. A.D. Mitchell steps up. Bowers has a phenomenal year. Our running back group, as a whole, just goes off. Using Cook, as and not only just a decoy, but as a receiver as well. It's just the next man up mentality. And that's the same thing on defense right now.
Absolutely. And coming back to the offensive side of the ball, the next question will probably center around the big boys. New coach Stacy Searles. He's not new to Georgia, but he's new because he wasn't here last year. Comes in. Broderick Jones, Cedric Van Pran, Warren McClendon, all coming back from their starting positions. The other two, Jamari Sawyer and Justin Schaefer, off to the NFL. How do you replace them? Probably one of the biggest gets of the entire recruiting cycle was getting Amarius Mims back out of the portal. Get him to say no thanks, I'm coming back to Georgia. So I'm trying to figure out how this offensive line is going to be configured. Obviously, Van Pran is the center. Broderick Jones probably slots in at left tackle. Does Amarius Mims go inside? Is that something he's versatile enough to do? I think he'd be dangerous. I think he'd be a hell of an athlete out there. Maybe he's one of those that wasn't quite quick enough for tackle.
Yeah, I think you kind of play musical chairs with those last two positions. I think we get Tate Ratledge back this year as well. Off the injury. Then we get Erickson back as well from injury as well. So it's just going to be, like I said, next man up. Who can understand? Because, like I said, the offense doesn't change. There's no new offensive coordinator. You're just building on what you've already installed. Coach Searles is a phenomenal offensive line coach, offensive mind himself. I think he just plays musical chairs to see what group, gives us the best chance to win on Saturday. So I think getting Mims back was huge from a depth perspective. And it's just up to him on how much he plays.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
That's kind of on him. I think he was really upset, at the fact that he wasn't running with the ones, but hey, that's your fault.
You got to get in there. It's a competition.
Can we trust you? Do you know what to do? Are you doing what you're supposed to do? So it's going to be musical chairs, especially during fall camp, just to see what combination of guys can take over those last two positions, which, going into Atlanta against Oregon, do we feel comfortable with these guys? Can we win with these guys? If they can't, hey, next man up. Here we go.
No doubt. And we'll see kind of how it goes, and we'll keep reports. Anthony Dasher, Roddy Nabolsi, Dane Young at UJ Sports do a really, really good job at that. And a couple guys coming off injuries, Brock Bowers, Darnell Washington, Dominic Blaylock, all look ready to roll. in camp, so that'll be a breath of fresh air. I mean, you get Brock Bowers and Darnell Washington working with the best tight end group in America, and you got 6 guys that could probably start and or play at other places. Even Brett Seither and Rylan Good, or Godey, or however you say his name. I don't know how to say his name. I apologize, Rylan. But you have 6 guys that could, 4 of them could easily start anywhere in the country. 2 of them could probably start most places and play just about everywhere. It's probably as strong of a tight end room as I've ever seen anywhere, anytime. Even the U, when they went through that run of Shockey to Olsen to Shockey to Winslow to Olsen.
Yep.
We're going from, we're getting Bowers is going to be the next best thing. So and you're going to see Eric Gilbert and Oscar Delp, Darnell Washington. You're going to see those guys kind of filter out too and up into the pros. So we'll have a similar run there too, and we have them all together, which is even scarier.
Absolutely. I mean, that tight end room is absolutely phenomenal. Just picked up another one here from South Georgia, my neck of the woods.
Yeah, Colquitt.
Yeah, we got Nakar and Thompson, another tight end they are phenomenal athletes. I mean, they're legit. So I was glad to see them. Both of them commit. Dejan Edwards also went to Cobb County as well, looking for him and have a big year too.
Nice little pipeline there.
South Georgia, I mean, keeping these guys in Georgia, is really good, and especially, like I said in my tweet, very good that they're wearing red and black.
Exactly.
So welcome to the family, guys, and I think the sky's the limit for this Georgia group. I mean, you just can't. Georgia, Kirby Smart preaches all the time. Just don't get complacent. You got a little bit of pressure on you now. Like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna be complacent. Oh, we won it. We good. We broke the curse. So are we good now? No, we're trying to build a dynasty. So
that's what we're trying to do, and it takes good recruiting, good portal management, good roster management, all of which we have done to this point. Raylan Wilson comes in. He's committed. He decommitted from Michigan, and he's a linebacker from Tallahassee, Lincoln High School in Tallahassee. Comes in 6'2", 215, rangy kid, special teams demon, has a lot of speed, physical ability, and just really good against the run. I mean, a lot of things you want the linebacker to do, he does at a really, really high level. 4-star kid from, like I said, from Tallahassee, committed earlier. I think he committed Sunday to the Dawgs. So Sunday you saw that Go Dawgs tweet from Kirby. That was him. Debron Gatlin, he's 2024 class, Rivals 250 receiver. Brian McClendon is surging for him. Some other recruiting news. Troy Bowles, the son of Todd Bowles, is he's going to make a decision soon. He's at Jesuit High School in Tampa. Jamal Jarrett, the 6'6", 340-pound tackle, defensive tackle, is coming. He's choosing between Georgia and North Carolina. He is from Grimsley High School. He's from Greensboro, the site of the ACC tournament, or the former site of the ACC basketball tournament. But, oh my gosh, there's a picture here tweeted from Jamal Jarrett. He's standing side by side to none other than Jordan Davis. If you blinked, you wouldn't. If you blinked and Jordan Davis had normal clothes on, you really wouldn't be able to tell who's who.
Yeah,
they're the same size, which is scary.
That's not a bad look by any means.
Jonel Aguero, 5'11", 197, 4-star kid from Massachusetts. MA is Massachusetts, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a safety. He's a few miles away from where Lewis Seen was originally from. So the Northeast area. That's Fran Brown land up there. Coach Fran Brown getting his DBs, St. John's Prep up in Danvers, Massachusetts.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to make a decision
a
here.
really good program too. So he's going to be well coached.
Mm-hmm.
So that'd be a huge get for Georgia.
Yes. So you're looking at Miami probably in the mix for him as well. Ohio State is in the mix, and then of course Georgia. I think those are three that probably will land him. Justice Haynes, legacy kids. His dad, shout out to Veron Haynes. He's the first blue check to follow Bleav in Dawgs on Twitter. So making
I got a chance to speak with Veron, about Justice. Justice he's a man child. That kid is phenomenal. Two-sport athlete. And he's got all the tools. He learned from the best. So, I hope he land him. He'll fit it right in with that running back crew. Very dynamic, great pass catcher. Kind of reminds me of a bigger James Cook. He can catch the ball out the backfield. You can line him up in the slot. Things like that. So, he would be a huge get for Georgia.
No doubt. And Caleb Downs from Mill Creek. I think he's the number one safety in America. I know. According to Rivals, class of 23, Georgia, Bama, and Ohio State are major players from him. Mill Creek will be a huge get from there because it's not typically a UGA pipeline. It's not really a pipeline for anybody, really. So maybe Georgia can get a foothold there. And then Kelton Smith from Carver in Columbus.
Mm-hmm.
Big offensive tackle. So that'd be a Del McGee get right there. So those are some names to look out for in recruiting. All phenomenal talents. Jamal Jarrett, a remix of Jordan Davis. If we can get him from North Carolina, I think that would be outstanding. And then, we're gonna be off and running in the recruiting game. So I'm liking that a lot. So, but some other things, that we talked about, coordinators. I saw a friend of mine. I'm not gonna reveal who the friend is because if you're listening, I don't want to reveal it because he's a ghostwriter still. But a friend of mine was talking to me, MikeFarrell.com. He's a ghostwriter. No, Mike Farrell made this. Mike Farrell did this. He wrote about coordinators that are under pressure. So I want to talk about it because there's two names that show up on there that, they're going to be under a lot of pressure, but it's a different kind of pressure. And it is Muschamp and Shue. Muschamp and Will Muschamp, Glenn Schumann, co-defensive coordinators taking over for Dan Lanning. Again, if Georgia's defense falls significantly off, you're talking 6.5 points per game to 17 points a game. That's a significant fall off. So we have to judge what is considered a failure and what's considered natural attrition from a generational defense. But nonetheless, they put the G on their shirt. They're under pressure, right? They're not necessarily hot seat pressure like that. I think if Georgia gives up 21 points a game, they're not getting fired. No. But I think the fans will fire them probably 23 times every game.
Mm-hmm.
You'll hear that, but thankfully Kirby doesn't listen to the fans when he's making hiring decisions. Otherwise, this team would look a lot different.
Absolutely. I don't think there's any pressure on them, in my opinion, because at the end of the day, we all know whose defense it is. It's Kirby Smart's defense.
Mm-hmm.
He's still heavily involved in a lot of the calls that go on, So, we got 3 defensive coordinators in that room, So I think they're going to be fine. Like I said, it's just like a puzzle, just fitting all those pieces together and making a beautiful picture. Will there be some downfalls? Absolutely, because you got new people going in new places, and that's a part of the draft, transfer portal, things like that, graduation, things like that. So, it's no different than any other year, and those guys are experienced enough to go through it. Muschamp's a former head coach, so, he completely understands it. So, you can put them in the hot seat if you want to, but, at the end of the day, Shue's been there since Kirby's been there. So, he knows that defense backwards and forwards. like I said, Muschamp. One thing Muschamp does do, he has phenomenal defenses. Not much of a head coach, per se, but at the end of the day, I mean, his defenses are absolutely elite. So from that standpoint, I don't understand why they're on the hot seat. I think it's more so the fact that, you lose so many people on defense. Same thing Alabama's going through, but if anybody's on the hot seat, I would think it'd be him more than anybody that would be on the hot seat, because they
talking about Pete Golding.
Absolutely, because we all know that they gave up way more points in Alabama history last year than they have in a long time, and we all know that's Kirby Smart. I mean, not Kirby Smart, but Nick Saban's defense. So, it's just one of those things where people got to write about something.
Yeah, they got to have somebody, and so they go to the highest pressure program and look at the coordinators.
Hires on the national championship team.
Yeah,
it'd be like that sometimes.
Yeah, it does. And there's a couple of newcomers on this list, like Jeff Lebby is about to enter his first season in Oklahoma, and Josh Gaddis is about to do the same in Miami. Yeah, lots of pressure. Hot seat, no. I don't think any of these – you read these names, and I think the only one that might be on the hot seat is Mark Whipple, because his head coach is on the hot seat at Nebraska.
Yeah.
But – you look at Jim Knowles at Ohio State. He's going to have an electric offense. So they're going to have an electric offense. So they're going to help. He's the defensive coordinator. But they're soft. But he doesn't have any pressure. That's just kind of their identity. And that's kind of what Ryan Day does. As long as they win the conference, he'll be fine. I think Josh Gaddis will have a lot of pressure on him. He might coach his way into a hot seat if they don't perform well in a really bad conference. Under new coach Mario Cristobal, who had some really good runs at Oregon. He's hoping to do the same at Miami, and I think Josh Gaddis will finally have an avenue to kind of do his own thing. I don't think he really got a fair shake at Michigan in that regard. So we'll kind of look to see what he's really got, and this will give us a clear picture. I don't think there's any pressure on him this year. I don't think he gets fired unless it's just an absolute abomination. Same with Jeff Lebby. I mean, Jeff Lebby's a smart guy. He's what Brent Venables wants in an offense. He looks across the border over there at Arkansas and says, "Hey, they got a phenomenal defense, which I can provide. They got a great offense, so I'm going to take the brother-in-law of their offensive coordinator who does the same exact stuff. I'm going to bring that over here to Norman, and we're going to pick up right where we left off, probably even better." And so, is there a lot of pressure? Yeah, because there's a lot of pressure in Oklahoma, regardless of what you do and who you are. If you're associated with Oklahoma football, if you're not winning or you're not successful, you're going to get the business from the fans.
Yeah,
but hot seat,
going to be a lot of quarterback development. You lose Caleb, who you thought was coming back. Excited about that. Then he goes to USC. You lose one of your top receivers. He goes to USC too. So I mean, do I think it's hot seat material? No. I mean, Oklahoma's always been very potent, offensively, no matter who, was calling the plays.
I mean, it's Dylan Gabriel's their quarterback. So,
I mean, and you get him that comes in. So, I mean, he's got experience. I mean, he's not just a rookie coming in as well.
And he played in the Heupel system, which is very similar to what Jeff Lebby does. Like Jeff Lebby, Kendall Briles, Josh Heupel, they're all kind of in that Baylor, Art Briles type offense.
So I mean, I think they'll be fine. Like I said,
they're Oklahoma.
People got to write about something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I'm interested to see what Derek Mason does at Oklahoma State, though.
Yeah, you got to pick some names, right? Yeah. I would put Derek Mason on this list. I mean, I think he's more in tune for a flame out than anything. Jeff Grimes maybe at Baylor, if he doesn't perform, maybe he's on the hot list. You look at somebody like, I mean, you could say Kyle Flood, but he's not really the offensive coordinator. He's offensive coordinator by title at Texas.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can't really say that. But he's more of a hot seat guy. Like if Texas fails this year, he's definitely going to be the fall guy. But that's the only reason he's on the hot seat, because he's not really the coordinator.
Yeah.
The other two SEC coordinators that are on the hot seat. See, those are coordinators with the most pressure on them, But you look at hot seat, and it's like that plus you ratchet up 10 notches.
Mm-hmm.
Darrell Dickey, Bill O'Brien. Those are the two guys in the SEC that are on the hot seat.
Bill O'Brien, I don't see why. I mean, I can see why from a philosophy standpoint. I think they should have run the ball a little bit more last year. He kind of did put things, just throwing the ball. But, I mean, when you got Bryce back there, slinging it, and you got, Jameson Williams, and all those guys out wide, why not throw the ball? I think his philosophy changed a little bit this year. I think Nick Saban makes his philosophy change a little bit more this year to run the ball. Who
are they going to run the ball with? Jahmyr Gibbs and
Gibbs is going to get it.
who's their Brian Robinson? Like, who's their other guy? They don't have another guy.
They're going to figure it out. Gibbs is going to be tired. He's going to need some oxygen line. Because I know Nick Saban's like, we're going to run the football.
Yeah.
But he did kind of put him in some bad situations last year. But, coming from NFL to college, it's totally different. Dealing with grown men, dealing with kids is,
and dealing with roster limits too. I mean, I made this point on SEC After Dark about their receivers and their lack of development in receivers. He's been in the NFL all but 2 years of his entire career, for the most part. He did some college stuff early, but he wasn't really a difference maker. But like most of his time is in the NFL, and in the NFL you have 5, maybe 6 receivers total. At Alabama you're like double that. So, and even in those 6 receivers, like 2 guys are really getting most of the work, and those guys kind of coach themselves anyway.
Absolutely.
In college, you got the gamut of guys. Like you got kids coming in, not grown men. You got kids coming in, so you got to develop those kids. They never did. So when Mechie got hurt, they took a hit, and then when Jameson got hurt, they fell apart. Like you're Alabama, you can't do that. Like it's not an excuse. I mean, it is what it is, but you have to have next man up. Like if Georgia lost Pickens, we developed Lad McConkey and A.D. Mitchell. They did just fine.
At the end of the day, those guys, so all your guys have to get reps. I'm believing in that. Even in my offense right now, my upcoming sophomores are still getting reps with the ones, with the number one group. Because, if my starters go down, they got to play right now. There is no tomorrow. They got to play right now. So I think that's something that Alabama has to do better. Of course, third down situation, big play situation, you want your dudes in the game. But one goes down, you got to have some backups ready to go. They got to know the offense. They got to know where they are. Quarterback has to build chemistry with those guys as well. So I think that's one thing that Alabama didn't do a good job of last year that I'm pretty sure they're putting the emphasis on this year, especially going to the fall camp.
Because I don't think they really had an identity. Like I think their identity ebbed and flowed with each game, which is true of the NFL. Like some games you'd have Brian Robinson get 38 carries, and some games he would get 12.
Yep.
And it just kind of ebbed and flowed, so you never really knew. So Bryce Young, it just didn't really seem like it had any sort of flow or continuity or true identity. And, you get these NFL guys. I mean, I felt that way about Kentucky a little bit too sometimes, where they got a little bit clunky. And that's what kind of like Kentucky could have been a 10, 11 win team.
Yep.
They could have won every game except for the one against us.
Yep.
But they didn't. They went 9-3.
Yeah. If I'm a coordinator coming in, if I'm an offensive coordinator looking at what Joe Brady did at LSU, came from NFL, came in, and of course there were 2 offensive coordinators. He was co-coordinator, but we all know who called the plays for LSU. I mean, we're not done, So depending what he did with Joe Shiesty, I call him Joe Shiesty because he's that cool. With the way that he led LSU's
Joe Shiesty, I love it. Yeah.
So they were. I mean, with run or pass, the RPO game was great. Joe did a great job managing the offense. Both Joes did in that regard. So I'm taking a look at what he did at LSU. If I'm an NFL guy coming in, or if I'm just a coordinator in general, kind of see what he did to in 1 year, just kind of take over that offense and kind of maneuver it the way he did, and results in national championship.
There's always a guy behind the scenes, right? And you had generational talent, and you did exactly what you were supposed to do with generational talent. So save the, well, they had generational talent, so of course they were going to be good. No, they did, and they did exactly what they should have done.
Those same guys were there the year before.
Yeah, and the same, and you look at Florida, they had generational talent on offense, and they went 8-4. So, what is it? Coaching. So, and I think Todd Monken was headed this way for a minute too, but I think he kind of learned some things about the main differences between college and pros, and he's had some experience in college. He just had to, get back on the bike and, keep riding a little bit. His was just a little bit of rust. He's been successful on both levels, so he kind of knows. But you bring in Buster, who's a former coordinator and been a coordinator in the college game, in Group of Five, and you kind of bring that mentality in to kind of help him. Then now you bring in McClendon, who's been a coordinator, so that's only going to help this offense, and you're going to have some ideas flowing, and college guys. So to help Monken, who's more known for his time in the NFL at this time. Same with what Bill O'Brien's got to do. That Saban's got to get him. Joe Brady was the guy in Insminger's ear, saying, "Okay, here's how you beef up your college version of what you're doing." He's got to have, since O'Brien's an NFL guy, he's got to have a college guy that's in Bill O'Brien's ear. And Bill O'Brien's got to be willing to listen. Got to have him in his ear so that you can look like more like what Sark looked like.
Absolutely. Everybody's got to have help, and you can't be too stubborn to not get help. I think that's what Bill O'Brien did a lot of last year. He would hear him, but he wouldn't listen. There's a difference in hearing somebody and listening to somebody.
Exactly. So, is he on the hot seat? I guess if they lose 3 games and they score less than double digits in those games, probably, yeah. If their offense is a disaster and they're winning games just because of Will Anderson and Dallas Turner, then yeah, he's probably on the hot seat. I just don't see it right now. Yeah. I just don't see Bill O'Brien right now on the hot seat. But I guess in a program like Bama, you kind of have to be, and you kind of just, people feel like he kind of just lucked into it, I guess.
Expectations is way too high.
I get it. I get it.
It's Alabama,
It's Alabama. I get it. I get it. I understand why he's on the list. I'm not there yet. So, but Troop, look at this time, man. I felt like we just came on board.
Yeah, right on time.
Right on time.
Information in.
Yeah, you want to talk about a sprint? Well, that was like 100-yard dash of information. So be sure, look on the bottom ticker. Be sure to follow us. Be sure to follow on TikTok. I had a top 10 stadiums list. The week you were out, Steve filled in for you. The top 10 stadiums list is, I think it's eclipsed 10,000 or 8,000 views now.
Love it.
Or it's getting close. I got a couple of the one with Vinny is up to almost 400 views on TikTok. So follow our TikTok account. Seem to be putting out some pretty good content there. We'll put out some more from this show as we go. I got into Kobe Dean clip coming up this weekend that's going to go live. So follow us there. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Twitter. Troop is the content master on Twitter. If you want some good content there, he's got the most powerful thumbs in South Georgia. So check him out there. Neither of us really do Instagram that well, so I'm learning. But check us out wherever you can. Check us out every Monday night. Check us out for now, just kind of every Thursday or Friday, wherever we get time at this point. But yeah, so be safe out there. The weather is bad. COVID cases are up a little bit, so be safe. Have a great weekend. We hope you've had a great week. We hope you have a great weekend, and we'll see you back here. Well, Troop and I will join Vinny, and we'll see you on Monday night. So long. See you later, and goodbye.